Bienvenidos a todos a Vericu de nuevo. Estamos aquí con Niklas Sandin, el bajista de Katatonia, que los veremos pronto en México y en Latinoamérica. Welcome, Niklas Sandin. It's a pleasure having you here today.
Thank, thank you so much. It's a big pleasure for me to have you as my interviewer and being your guest.
No, well, I mean, having you here and also being able to see you live soon in Mexico, it's going to be great.
Oh yeah, especially just as we talked about before the interview started, that it's a good old snow chaos here in Stockholm, Sweden, and it's very dark as well. So I'm very happy to soon experience the opposite. Have sunshine on my face and maybe have a good beer or something.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great change for all of you coming there from the snow to a little bit more tropical climate here.
Oh yes, it's kind of like doing the reverse Lord of the Rings, going from Mordor and going to to greener pastures.
That's a great way to put it. So, talk to us a little bit about your new album that you just released earlier this year, Sky Void of Stars. This is the second album that you released since the hiatus that you had, but also since the pandemic, right?
Yeah, that's true. This is the second one after the hiatus we did. I believe it was in 2018, and then we kind of like regrouped, reformed, and started working towards the City Burials record. And then when we were done with that, and we had like a kind of like a pre-listening party for it, and also started like dropping singles for the public. Then the nasty COVID came about and came and just swept over the world. And but we didn't really want to postpone the release. We wanted to release it on the set date, not just for not just for honoring our fans, of course, but also for our peace of mind, because it would have been even worse for us being in the situation of not being able to go out and promote the album, but also needing to sit on it, and we didn't see any good purpose to do that. So we released it out in the world when the pandemic started, pretty much. And then yeah, and then now we have the Sky Void of Stars, which feels like now we have the ability and the ways and the tools to be able to give this album a real real justice, which never unfortunately happened for City Burials. We only did one tour, and that was it was the one which was at the end of last year, the US tour. So it
Okay.
was the one tour wonder.
Yeah. So yeah, they didn't get the time to do it, but now you have this time to do it, and not only the time, right? The ability to be able to travel, uh, and just be on the road again. So, how do you compare this album to City Burials? I know you always keep a, of course, it's Catatonia, right? You hear Catatonia on every album, but you still innovate. So, tell us a little bit about the process moving from City Burials to Sky Void of Stars.
I think, at least in my opinion, it's a much more straightforward album. It has more, proper songs on it, and
Okay.
it's a album that keeps a better momentum and a better flow. And I think that almost each and every one of the songs can be, transcribed in a good live environment, and that it would fit during a good good live show. And maybe like that will be the ultimate Katatonia show when we celebrate 10-year anniversary for this one, when we play it from front to back. You have no idea if we even exist then. I hope so. But
Hope so too.
but I think it's more straightforward, and some people call it very progressive, but maybe it is in its like kind of a subtle way. But I feel at least as a player of the band, that it's very very direct, and it has like a kind of, well, a little bit pop rock vibe to it in a way. It has very very strong choruses, and you can feel where the verses connects with the choruses and where there are bridges and stuff like that, which I really like. And it seems like people has really taken that to heart when it comes to playing these songs live, which we have done now during the European tour, and we played a few during the US tour as well last year. And it feels like people are connected with the songs really quickly, especially on the US tour when we dropped singles from the album, and you could see people already after two days of the single being released, singing along in the choruses and stuff like that. So that's super cool, and that's the best feedback you can get.
Absolutely, seeing the fans knowing the songs and already singing them when they just got released. I mean, that must feel great. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's a huge kick.
Yeah. So now that you've been back in the road, you basically had the North American tour at the end of last year and the European tour earlier this year, correct?
Yeah, that's true. We got home from the European tour. I think it's a little bit less than 2 weeks now, and that was stretching from January 20th when we released the record to February 25th when we did our last stop, which happened to be here in Stockholm where we live, which was very, very, very good and very, practical as well.
Great. And how do you feel being back on the road, being able to do all of that again?
Oh, it feels amazing, and when it's been a while, at least like during the state run, it felt like it was almost being a novice at touring again, because everything felt so, of course familiar, but it takes some time to get into the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna be in this little bunk where you sleep, and I'm gonna have that as private, like private room, and the only kind of like place where you can have your privacy and integrity for 4 or 5 weeks. So that's kind of like a mental kind of thing where you need to adjust a little bit and get into it again. But I mean, it's overwhelming, and I almost forgot how good and how fortunate I am to be able to do that for 4 to 5 weeks, and being up on stage almost every night, and connect with people, and seeing the the best side of what we're doing when people are singing along with the lyrics, and having their kind of like escape from this world kind of moment, and just indulging in our songs. And yeah, and then the only thing you need to worry about is not fucking up, I guess. So people leave with a bad experience, but we haven't done that yet, at least.
Yeah, and it's hard for that to happen. So when you're putting all that effort, and I mean, you really want to do it because you haven't been able to do it in a while. You're obviously putting it at your all. So.
Oh yeah, and we can't afford any magic mushrooms. So
No.
yeah, so
Better.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah. All right, and so you've had your, many dates already. Have you been able to play all of the songs from the new album already, or most of them?
Not yet. We have played, I think, so far we have played 5 songs from the album plus Impermanence, but that was only for the last show of this European run, when you will Ekelöv, who is guesting on the song on the record, when he joined us, since he also lives in Stockholm. So that was a really, really cool and special feature for that night, and something that we're really happy that it happened. And if I remember it correctly, it was him suggesting it. So that's really cool. It means that he is really happy with the outcome and how it is on the record. it was just one of those days where it was like having a sixth member. He came in early, already like 11 before lunch, and sound checked with us and made sure everything worked out. And then he came and joined us for like 2 hours before the gig, and we were prepping together and getting excited for the gig. So it really felt like having a additional member for that evening.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a video of that. I mean, I saw you guys play with Soen in Dallas last year. Unfortunately, we didn't get the pleasure of seeing that live, but I mean, you already did it once, and you probably are gonna have some videos of that, and would love to see that.
Yeah, we should have shot some kind of more professional video, but there's but there's some captures on YouTube.
We'll get into YouTube right after the interview.
Or you can scan the internet for bootleg VHSs like back in the day.
Yeah, I'd rather buy directly from you guys, but if there's no other way.
Like I remember I was in school, like when I was a teenager, there was this guy who was selling video bootlegs. I bought Stockholm show with Slipknot.
Wow.
It was like, yeah, it was a very, very early Slipknot show, and I was kind of like, wow, I can watch a Slipknot show from Stockholm at home. This is so big, It was before like the download thing, really, like you couldn't really get that on the download sites, and then I got a Kiss show as well, like as a bonus on the end of the video. So you never know, if you buy the VHS from the Stockholm show, maybe you get a Kiss show as well. You have no idea.
That's a good bonus there.
Yep.
We've gone far from that, having bootleg VHSs to bootleg YouTube videos.
Yeah. Exactly, and it's even it's so much better quality nowadays. I think I don't think I could properly make out which song it was, if I remember correctly from that. It was mostly blurry because there was someone with a cheap handycam sitting at the end of the the concert hall, and it was just blurry and it was just sounds, but I still thought it was so cool because I felt like I had something special on my hands.
Yeah, you still felt like it was a show, and even if you didn't recognize it.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you go really drunk nowadays to a show. It's that kind of experience.
Been there, done that.
Yep.
So out of those songs that you played, you mentioned you played 5 and then Impermanence ones. Which one did you enjoy the most playing live? And obviously, I'm guessing you're playing some of them often, but which one do you enjoy the most out of the whole album playing live?
I think for the European run, I think Colossal Shade was the one that I really enjoyed. It's so heavy and it's really, really cool playing live, and it's just one of those songs which would fit really good at a very, very large, venue, and it's cool. You can see that the people are getting really into it and bobbing heads, which is cool. Which I really like to do live. It's pretty much me and Jonas doing that nowadays.
Yeah.
During the live set, so it's cool to see when some people are joining in the audience as well. So you're not totally alone. But I have a hard time of not doing it when it's those kind of songs. It just comes naturally for me.
That's great. I mean, it's good to enjoy what you do, right? I mean, not everyone has the pleasure of having a job that they enjoy doing all the time, and you having that and then enjoying and also getting into the song while playing, must feel great.
Oh yeah, and headbanging is like drinking alcohol. It's when you stop, you feel the consequences.
Yeah, the day after.
Yeah, so it's if you do it every night, then it's no problem. But then when you stop doing it, the neck muscles will tell you,
Oh yeah.
how you've been treating them for the last couple of weeks.
You can tell after a tour your neck is bigger, and that's just great.
Oh yeah. Grinder.
Yeah. So you mentioned Colossal Shade as your favorite to play live from this new album. But what about the back catalog? Which song do you really enjoy playing live the most?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's kind of like is this thing where we can have like your favorites like falling in and out of fashion uh, every once in a while. It's kind of like where you are mind like in your state of mind. Sometimes I think it's like just playing something super mellow can be uh, can be super cool, like Omerta or something,
Yeah.
and then like Soil Song can be a favorite at like some nights. But I think a long time favorite, but it's something we rarely play, is New Night. I think that's a super cool live song because of the backbeat and I think it's a beautiful song which we unfortunately a little bit neglect, but I think that's super fun song to play.
Yeah, it's very groovy. It's a great song to play to listen live.
Yeah,
So
but unfortunately not too often.
yeah, I mean, eventually, I'm sure it will make its way back into a show.
Yeah, I hope so.
So with such a long and diverse and honestly amazing catalog that you have, how do you choose which songs to play? It's a hard choice, right?
It is a hard choice, and you have to a little bit both, of course, make changes to a set list and make it fresh and make it something new for a new tour, so you're not like doing the same set list all over again, and so people get sick of it and wonder why coming out to the shows. But you also have to be careful not to like exclude the fan favorites and the ones that people are expecting to hear, and but also keeping it fresh for yourself and the audience. So it's a little bit like hit and miss, like trial by error as well. Sometimes we rehearse songs that we, after a few days, we kind of we exclude from the set list because we feel like maybe this is not the right order or the right flow, and maybe it's not exactly what people want to hear, even though maybe it's our darlings. But then it can just be like it can be wrong in the set, like in the wrong order, so you just move it to another position and then it's good again. But it's just trial and error and trying to figure out something that would be cool and has a purpose, and think of a set list as track list for an album, that it should be have a good flow and not having too many ballads after another and too many heavy songs, maybe tiring out the audience. So it's yeah, creating a good dynamic set list is about just being yeah, particular about that.
I bet because it's not only a long catalog; it's a diverse, from heavy stuff to more softer or more melancholic stuff. I mean, that must be a challenge.
Oh yeah.
So you haven't played Mexico and Latin America in many years. How do you feel coming back?
I feel very eager to do it, and I mean it's it's a continent that we haven't played enough, in my opinion, and that we should have played more often, and we would like we should have been more frequent there. I don't really know how it came that we've been there just a few times, but it's something that I'm really looking forward to, and that I'm very happy about returning to. And I mean, well, what's not to like for a Swedish person? There's good food, lovely people that's open and welcoming, and the weather as well.
Yeah, I mean, so you did mention you've been having a really cold days and a lot of snow. I mean, that change of scenery is gonna be great. But what else are you looking forward to in Mexico? You just mentioned food. is there a favorite food that you are looking forward to eating again, or?
I think like the Argentinian barbecue
No.
is pretty good. It's pretty dope. I really like that, and also Mexican food. It's one of my favorites. I mean, you can't really beat that, and just having it the authentic way. We have a very good Mexican place here in Stockholm called La Neta, which is authentic, which is more like the authentic taqueria. It has nothing to do with like Tex-Mex or anything like that. You can't get sour cream. You can't get like the cheese kind of things. It's just like it's the straight up
The real deal.
things. Yeah, and you go collect your own salsa, the cilantro and the diced onion and the rice yourself, and you put it together. Yeah, it's super good, and I'm looking forward to lots of that when I come there. But most of all, of course, the great audience, which is in Latin America. It's just, you can't beat that. It's far from what we experience here in the Nordic countries, where it's equally cold and stiff as the weather is now.
Yeah, and you do get to see that correlation between the weather and people being either colder or warmer. And I've heard that from many bands that playing Mexico or Latin America, you notice the audiences are different.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And do you have any favorite stories from last time you went? You came here to Mexico or Latin America?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a weird and cool coincidence. It was I believe it was when we were in Argentina actually, and we just randomly like bumped into the Meshuggah guys at the same hotel.
Wow.
And we didn't know that they were there, and they didn't know that we were there. And everybody had some friend in Meshuggah, so it was kind of weird. And I think it was Roger who was like going with the elevator, and all of a sudden Dick just came into the elevator and was like, "Whoa, hey, I think I know you." And like, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm playing tomorrow." "Oh, we played yesterday." So it's like one of those, random coincidences,
Yeah,
which sometimes happens
it happens.
when
And
you when you least expect it, in an elevator, like across the side of the globe.
yeah, and it may happen to you again this year. I noticed that Soen, coming back to Soen again, is touring the same days as you are, just different cities, a different date, but starting at the same time in Mexico.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And so, to close this out, do you have any message to your fans?
Yeah, to stay cool in school and keep on keeping on.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Niklas, for joining us for this interview. Muchas gracias a todos por ver nuestros videos en Vericu. Vean a Katatonia. Van a estar el 17 de marzo en Guadalajara, el 18 en Monterrey, el 19 en la Ciudad de México, el 22 en Chile, 24 en Buenos Aires y el 25 en Sao Paulo, Brasil. Gracias a todos. Nos vemos pronto.